If you've been trying carnivore, whether you're a longtime carnivore or you're a brand new carnivore, but cravings and emotions are tripping you up, then you're not alone. In this series, I'm going to work with Cathy. She's a brand new carnivore. We're going to talk to her in a minute. She's only been doing carnivore for 1 week. We're going to hear her story, and I'm going to tap with her every week on her cravings and whatever emotions and things come up on the carnivore journey for her. But we're also going to, in the process, follow that journey and see how she goes. She's got some pretty serious health stuff going on. She wants to lose some weight. And so it's kind of a cool way to watch her progress. You'll be able to tap along with my tapping with Cathy and hopefully get some benefit for yourself as well. So here's Cathy. Welcome, Cathy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Craving Carnivore. I'm so excited to begin this series with you, and it's so generous of you to share the experience with the viewers so that people can follow along. People love to watch a story. They love to follow people's progress. It helps kind of people be inspired for their own journey, but also in this series, we're going to be doing tapping as well. And just basically cover everything about your journey. So, to start, why don't you just sort of share how this whole thing started for you and when?
Decades ago.
Okay, so first of all, start with just tell me how long have you been a carnivore and how did that start?
Okay, so we obviously are great friends and have been for a long time. And we were meeting in Sydney to run an event for leaders. So we've been planning it for a long time. We've seen each other online, but we haven't seen each other in person for ages. And honestly, I very, very nearly didn't come because my health has just been absolutely horrific. So literally 2 weeks before the event, I thought I was having a heart attack. My blood pressure has been through the roof to the point I can feel it in my body. Like my heart was pounding a lot of the time. I felt I felt unsafe in my body. And my gallbladder's been flaring massively. So I've been having horrific attacks with my gallbladder. And because I was overweight, which I'm quite open to sharing, I've struggled with my weight all of my adult life. No matter how many things I try, always been sort of perplexed as to why, because I generally eat quite healthily, well, as I thought. Um, and so living with pain for 2 years, told I was too big to operate on by a surgeon who has since been reprimanded and said, no, you could have operated on her. And just having like 8 hour attacks overnight, really horrendously painful, very, very distressing to the point twice I actually contemplated phoning an ambulance. I was that ill. And so coming to the event was very touch and go for me right till the last minute because I was on my knees, Naomi, to be honest. I was absolutely on my knees. Business is going great. I run my own business. I've got a big family. My husband's away. It's a big life, which I love, every element of it. But just thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to be here much longer. Like that's literally the conversation I was having in my head.
Wow.
So, especially like looking so bad, I knew I looked really bad when I came to Sydney, and that in itself nearly stopped me from coming because you don't want to look bad when you see people. You want to look good, especially when you're helping to run an event and people are eyes on you. You want to be feeling like you look great. And I didn't. I really didn't. My skin was pasty and pale, and I was flushed, and I was swollen, and I just felt pretty low. And really, it was when you and I caught up in the intermission, and I just basically jumped on you and went, "I'm really sick. I'm not coping. I'm really struggling here." When we had a quiet moment together, you were like, "Okay, I need to talk to you. We need to talk this out. I really need to tell you some things. There's something that's transformed my health." And to be honest, Naomi, number one, I obviously implicitly trust you in our friendship. And number two, I was open to anything at that point because I feel like I've tried everything else. I've tried Ozempic, I've tried all of the different things, and it just wasn't long term sustainable for me because I felt like I was starving most of the time. I can't function with my big
Yeah.
life if I feel like I'm starving.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, am I going to be here to see my kids married? Am I going to be here to see them? You know, my youngest is 8, my eldest is 22. But I was like, am I going to be here for them? Like, I don't know what to do because there's so much conflicting chatter out there about what we should be doing.
And for carnivores watching this, a lot of people will have arrived at that place where, like, I've been carnivore for a year now, and I've arrived at that place where I don't automatically tell everybody about the carnivore diet. And I remember specifically, it was lunchtime where we had that conversation, and I had just sat down next to you, and I had my plate of all meat and some cheese, and you kind of looked at it, and I think you had overheard somebody talk about at the table at the buffet that maybe you heard me say that I was really surprised that because we did the meal form of like what do people want to eat, and
Mm-hmm.
like 6 people had put zero carb keto, which was an option, which is code for carnivore. And carnivores know that that means carnivore. And there had been some comment about really surprised at this event how big a proportion were carnivores. And so I sat down with my plate, my little carnivore plate, and I think you'd already eaten your lunch. I don't think you had a plate with you. And you said, "Tell me about carnivore." That's what you did, Kathy, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have told you about it because I have learned my lesson about trying to
Mm-hmm.
talk to people about it. And you
Yeah.
said, "Tell me about carnivore." And Kathy, I had looked at you when you walked in, and I mean, we've been honest. I've been honest with you about this. You've asked me about it. I thought, well, you had gained a lot of weight since the last time I saw you, but that wasn't really it. It wasn't happy weight. It wasn't jolly roly poly weight. You looked so unwell. And the
Yeah.
pastiness and just there was something else going on, and you didn't disclose back then on that day. I mean, that was only a week ago, just a little over a week ago. You didn't disclose how ill you felt until after I told you about carnivore, because of course you just popped the tab by asking about carnivore. I just went, oh, and it came forward, and you were all ears. I think you were meant to ask that question.
Mm.
I think that it was meant to be because you were hungry for the information, and a lot of people come to carnivore because they're desperate, because they've reached that on their knees point, like you're describing. So, and having done all those different diets, we've all done all of them, and you're in your early 40s.
47, darling. 47, late 40s.
Okay, so you're still a baby compared to me. So, you've still got lots more life to live. So to hear you say that you're worried that, how much longer will I be here? You shouldn't be having those thoughts at 47. And
Mm-hmm.
especially with um, a wonderful family and kids to watch grow up and have their own kids. I mean, you've watched half of them already grow up. So, what was it about what I told you about carnivore? I mean, were you so desperate that if I had said, "Oh, there's this new diet where you eat fire," would you have been willing to try that? Or was there specifically something about the explanation that I gave you that made you think, "Okay, this doesn't sound like it will kill me. Let's try it."
Yeah, I mean, look, I know you as a person, and I know with everything extensively research everything. So I already knew I was onto a good thing because I knew you'd done all of the hard work for me, and I could just like piggyback off what you're doing. But for me, I was nervous, as I've said to you, starting this because I was a pescatarian for 10 years, which meant I ate a little bit of fish, but mainly I was on vegetables. Um, and so I just thought, I'm not sure my body can process meat. Like, I really don't feel like my body's going to be able to do that. And I sort of went into it feeling quite anxious, actually, thinking, oh, I'm not sure about this. It sounds unhealthy because it's like the fat and all of the cream, and I mean, obviously as strict as or not strict as you want to go. I'm not sure, but I honestly, I thought I've got nothing to lose here.
Mhm.
Like my health was in such a horrific place. My anxiety, constant anxiety, was through the roof. And I've meditated and I've grounded and I work in this. This is what I do my work in. I help other people with that. But for me internally, I was like, gosh, what is going on with me right now? I felt completely out of control.
Mhm.
And so I went into it with some trepidation, cautiously, And I really took on board what you were saying about you need to have the salts, you need to hydrate, you need to do all of these things. And literally, like when we were talking after the event on the phone, you were telling me I was ordering the stuff as you were speaking. So I was
You
like,
were.
okay, I'm just taking it as gospel what this woman's saying to me. And so I've taken it seriously. Like, this isn't something I'm just rolling the dice, right? I know you've done the research. I've literally got salts with me right now. So I bought the things, I'm doing all of the things I'm supposed to do. And what has shocked me the most is, number one, it suddenly occurred to me the other day, I've quit carbs and sugar overnight with zero side effects.
Let me interrupt you just for a quick second here to point out to anybody who's watching this, because that you guys don't know, you at home watching this. I don't advocate for people to start carnivore without doing a bunch of research first. So I had sent Cathy so many videos, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Barry. I had sent Steak and Butter Gal. I had sent Dave Mack interviews. I had sent so much stuff to Cathy. But Cathy, like she said, she has a big life. She gets home, she's got the kids, she's got her business, she's got everything. And so I kept texting going, so have you watched the video yet? And she's like, no, I haven't had a chance yet. But I'm a carnivore now. I started and I was like, oh, wait, no, it's not such a good idea to just jump straight in. And Cathy, you said to me what? When I said, like, what was your reaction when I was panicking a little, like, oh, really straight in like that?
Well, what did I have to lose?
Yeah.
What did I have to lose? I literally was on my knees.
Yeah.
And what I've been looking for is something that made sense, something that was scientifically sound, and something that I could easily do, because my life is like massively full.
Yeah.
And one of the things for me was I finding the time to try and make all of these recipes and try and buy all of these special ingredients. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then something would derail me because one of the kids would have an accident, break their arm, or something would happen, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I haven't got the time to do this. And I also felt as well, I believed that there was an emotional core to my eating,
Mm-hmm.
and that I had to heal the emotional core in order to get my eating in place. And I've been listening to meditations for months and years and all of the things. But what's interesting is, since I've started carnivore, which is only like, what, 8 days? I can't believe it's only.
So today is Monday morning in Australia. And did you start on the Sunday? Because I
No,
saw you Saturday, the Monday.
I started on the Monday.
Okay,
So it's a
so it's
week.
exactly 1 week because would have had your first steak, or so I think you had a steak. You
Yeah.
said you sent me a text and said, I've had a steak. And there was one other, just in terms of the time, just quickly, you had surgery coming up. So that's another reason that you said, no, I've got to jump straight in. And so I just said, okay, this is what you're going to need. You're going to have black tea if you get oxalate dumping. You're going to have, the electrolytes, drink water, eat enough fat, make sure you're getting enough fat. And I was hammering all these things because I was so scared that you were going to jump straight in and have a bad experience. But continue. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to
No,
interject.
totally. And that's all completely true. Like, I know you were being super cautious, and I'm working my way through the videos, but there's no way as you said, I've had big, and also when I came home last week, I had two massive events to navigate through with my family. So that would be enough to derail me on a good day. Do you know what I mean? But I wasn't derailed. So what's been an interesting side effect of this is, well, there's a couple of things. Number one, I took a photograph of my face on the Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and I just felt sad, really, really deeply sad, because I knew I was in crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you only had to look at me, you only had to see me to say, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
something's going on with her. And so I took a photograph of my face, which wasn't easy to do because I knew I looked bad. I
Mm.
took a photograph of my face on the Monday. I took a photograph of my face on the Friday, and the difference was phenomenal. Like, I can't begin to describe the difference in my face in 5 days of being on carnivore. Because of course, being on carnivore, as I said earlier, I quit sugar and carbs overnight.
Yes. Talk about
Like,
that a bit.
there was just eliminated, completely eliminated. no cravings, not even thinking about it. And also with the emotional core thing, my anxiety is virtually nothing now, which is super interesting.
Yeah, you kept texting me all week going in all caps, and you're not an all caps texter. You kept going, this is incredible. Just my emotional stability, because you went through some, big stuff this week, and you just said, I just walked through it and I handled it.
Mm, really powerfully. And there was I what I'd found previous to that is I'm the kind of person that likes to show up and be really centered and really fair and really considered in my responses and all of those things. But previous to carnivore, I had to work my way through to get to that point. So I had to navigate the big emotions and do all of my inner work in order to show up in that meeting, in that connection, whatever, to be steady. And with this, honest to God, like I just showed up like that. I was just like totally centered, feeling strong, not emotional, very powerful, actually. Very, very
Yeah,
powerful because I had to deal with some big things last week. So it's very, very powerful for me.
yeah.
And I feel emotionally very, very stable, which is a side effect I wasn't prepared for.
Interesting. And what others, have you had any other side effects in general, like negative side effects at all?
Oh, well, I feel like my system is recalibrating. So
Yeah.
my bowel is recalibrating.
Yeah,
But
here in carnivore land, we talk about poop all the time.
yeah,
I've
yeah. But I
noticed.
mean, for me, Naomi, for years, I've had horrific diarrhea 3, 4 times a week. It's just my normal.
Wow.
Yeah, and I eat loads of veggies, loads of salads, loads of all of the good stuff. I mean, I was having occasional cake and things as well. I'm not going to say it was all
Yeah.
salads.
Yeah.
And I would have the occasional drink and stuff like that. So I wasn't a saint by any means. But the majority of my diet was lots and lots of fresh produce. Lots of what we call, if you see the plate on the poster, like a good diet, right?
Have a balanced
And
diet.
but horrific diarrhea, like all the time. And I was
Oh.
like, I don't understand this. Like, I'm really doing the right things here. And it was quite debilitating because I'd be scared to go out. That really affects you. It's an
Yeah.
embarrassing thing to have. Do you know what I mean? It's not something, and I would never have any warning. So
Have
it
you ever
wasn't like I
spoken
was
to have you ever spoken to a doctor about that over those years? And what did the doctor say it was?
well, process of elimination. But that
Okay.
seemed like such a massive chore for me, considering
Yes.
everything else I carry, that I was like, sure, great. Like I've got like oodles of time to start a diary of what I'm eating. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly. And what do I have left? It's like, but and ironically, the carnivore diet is, well, especially the lion diet, which you're not lion, but you are pretty strict carnivore,
Mm, mm. Oh yeah,
is
100% carnivore. Yeah,
yeah, is the ultimate elimination diet. So it's a
yeah.
great place to start if someone is just trying to figure out what are my different sensitivities. Get clear on that for 90 days and then gradually work your way back to the extent that you want to. Some people just don't ever want to. They stay carnivore forever. Um, and then and other people just say, well, I want to be ketovore ultimately for convenience, travel, lifestyle, whatever. So I'll just gradually introduce one vegetable at a time, grain, nut, whatever it is, to give it a couple of weeks, see how my system reacts. And then there will be things you just go, nope, that's off the table, literally. And then there will be things that you just say, okay, like I've got that with sourdough bread. I can have, the only thing I've had that isn't really carnivore, with the exception of something a few weeks ago, and I'll talk about that in another video, but I have a little bit of carnivore bread or sourdough bread that has been fermented for 3 days by a local guy here who makes it. And it doesn't upset my tummy. I only do it a couple of times a week, and I enjoy it. And as long as I don't have it in the house, which I don't have to because I don't live with people who want carnivore, or sorry, sourdough bread in the house all the time or something. So I don't have to do the cravings tapping on that necessarily, so it's fine. But um, it's that process of just slowly really letting your body tell you what you can eat and what you can't. Why don't you tell us, what do you eat? Like, take us through the week. So, what was day one like, day two, in terms of, did it feel weird sort of eating steaks, or did you have eggs and bacon? Tell us what you were eating, because I don't really even know.
Yeah, so the first time I literally just on the way home, I was super tired and I ran into the supermarket and I just grabbed steak because I thought I knew that was something I could have. And so I thought it was interesting, Naomi, because I wasn't like, okay, yeah, I did start on a Monday, but that was just because of where I was and all of that sort of thing. But I wasn't like, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll start when it's perfect. I'll start when I was like, I'm in. It was like 100%. I'm in. Like I've got nothing to lose. Like I'm the worst I've ever been. I'm the heaviest I've ever been. My health is scaring me. Like I'm in crisis here. I understand this, but I didn't know what to do about it. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. I didn't know what to do. And yeah, knowing what you can have, you can add things in over time. That's not a big hassle if that's what you want to do. But trying to eliminate everything, I was only eating jacket potato and salad every day anyway because of my gallstones. So if I deviated from that very much, I'd have a huge attack.
Talk
So
about your
one,
gallstones a little too in a minute. I want to make
yeah,
sure we do.
yeah. Well, one of the things with the gallstones, which I was very, and look, I just want to say, I'm not advocating for everybody with gallbladder issues to be doing what I'm doing. Like this is very personal to me. I'm sharing my story. Obviously, you need to contact your medical professional. Like we are
Absolutely.
not advocating anything. We're just talking about our personal journeys.
Yeah.
Um, but I was concerned that eating fatty meat would set my gallstones off. But it was a risk I was willing to take to try and transform my life, which is what I want to do. And I haven't had a twinge.
Well, that gall surgery was due. You were supposed to have your gallbladder out at the end of September, so like in 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that you decided, I'm jumping straight in with both feet. I'm not going to do sort of a month or two of ketovore to kind of work my way. And you just went, I'm jumping in the deep end.
Yeah.
And you haven't had any twinges or anything in. And normally, how often would you feel those feelings that drove you to the doctor to schedule the surgery? Like, how bad was it?
Oh, I was having massive attacks like at least twice a week. So I'm
Really?
talking overnight, 8 hours, horrific pain,
Oh, wow.
and vomiting bile all night, which was like a horrendous strain on my body. So I'd wake up in the morning, just well, not wake up, I'd doze when the attack finished to when I had to get up and start my day again.
Wow.
So it was really impacting my life, my mental health. And I could feel it. Like I always get this pain in the back, and like at the back of my ribs. And I was like, oh no. And then I know I'm in for it then. And it's, I know there's nothing I can do. There's nothing, I just have to ride out the attack. And I've been very cautious because I am quite a cautious person, actually. I mean, I know I've gone 100% in on this, but that's because I
That was
had nothing else.
desperation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a twinge. I haven't had an attack. And I've been eating like, but interestingly, I'm not just downing fat.
Yes.
Like yesterday I had, because I do have eggs and bacon in the morning.
Yep.
So I'm not lying. I have eggs and I can't, I don't think I could eat red meat consistently. I need a bit of variety for my body.
Yeah.
So I've been having eggs and bacon in the morning, which I enjoy. And then I've been having like a steak or lamb chops for lunch.
Hmm.
But I've noticed my appetite has decreased significantly.
Hmm.
And so now I'm actually having less and feeling great.
Hmm.
Like with my lamb chops yesterday, I've been loving the fat on my lamb chops, but I had 4 lamb chops for dinner last night, and I had 1 lamb chop with full fat, and the rest I was like, I don't need that fat. I just didn't feel like I needed it, so I just had, and the chop was fatty in itself. So I haven't. I've listened to my body.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is like a little coaching moment for you, because we agreed that that would be part of this process, is that I would be able to kind of give you some coaching as well. When you have had a really carb heavy diet, your satiety signals, your hunger signals are kind of not, they're kind of broken, because it's the addiction for carbs. And when I say carbs, I don't mean simple carbs, I mean complex carbs too, like high fiber vegetables and things like that. And so what happens is, when you take those away and you lose a certain amount of just the physical craving for those things, often people make the big mistake they make on carnivore is they undereat because they haven't learned true hunger signals. And because they're not having these massive cravings for just, the bulk and so on, they're just assuming they're not hungry. So there is a transition period, which is why I think I advise you to, and I also want to say for the record, I also gave you a list of carnivore doctors in your area and said, please talk to a doctor,
Yeah.
because I'm not a doctor. I'm just a fellow traveler on this carnivore journey, further ahead than you by a year, but there's plenty of people who've been on this journey for decades that I'm still learning from too. But one of the things that was really important to know is that I had described to you priming. Do you remember we talked about priming, right? So priming is when for 2 weeks you intentionally eat until you are, quote, comfortably stuffed, which means eating a little beyond where your hunger tells you to stop. So that's one thing, just for the first 2 weeks, because it can take about that 2 weeks for your natural hunger signals to come back. So I would just caution you that it's a bit of a honeymoon phase right now for the first two
Mm.
weeks because you're going, oh, this is awesome. I don't have these, I'm not, my appetite's dropped away for the first 2 weeks. So I would encourage you, don't eat to satiety, eat to comfortably stuffed, just for the
Hmm.
first 2 weeks to give your
Hmm.
body's natural, probably never in your life before felt real hunger signals if you've been carbing your whole life. Because I did that and it really was great. So, and then as far as the fat goes, um, you might have to eat a bit more fat than you think you need because you're still dealing with decades of ideas about fat. And what you don't realize when on a carnivore diet, ideally you want to be kind of 1-to-1 fat to protein. So a lot of people think carnivore is a high protein diet. It's not, it's a high fat diet. So you kind of have to force yourself. I'm not saying to the point where you're uncomfortable. So the term comfortably stuffed includes the word comfortable.
Mm.
So it means definitely for the first 2 weeks, you eat beyond that satiety, not hungry anymore signal. And then it's kind of safer after that 2 weeks to just sort of let yourself do what you're doing now. I would just worry that
Hmm.
it's only been a week. You might be under eating, and that's going to backfire big time.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's great that you're eating the fat on there and also noticing, and this is where EFT can help. If you find that those little kind of subconscious or not quite conscious parts of you that are still having cringe about eating fat,
Mm.
those parts
Yeah.
still going, geez, that's a lot of fat, especially with gallbladder issues where you've kind of like scared of, well, I don't want to, use your judgment, take on board what I'm saying, weigh it against your intuition, and just be aware that that's a possibility. And your situation is unique. When I did my priming, I was not having gallbladder issues at all.
Mm.
So, but hey, whatever you're doing is working, right? So you haven't had any cravings or for anything that's not carnivore,
No, which is just like a miracle for me because
right?
I'm a big craver, like I'm a big emotional eater.
What are your things that you normally crave? I'm just going to write them down for future reference. What were your kind of slippery slopes?
Well, cake
Hmm.
I would have. Not so much chocolate. It's more stodgy, like an iced bun or a cake or something like with that sort of. I don't know what you would say. I mean, I love like my curries and I love all of that, but I wasn't able to eat them anyway because of my gallbladder.
Hmm.
Too greasy. Um, what else?
But
Bread.
bread, okay. And in
Yeah.
terms of greasy, when you talk about like curries and things being greasy, a lot of times people just they think of grease and they get told that grease causes things like gout and things like that. And it's animal fat is actually really good grease. And animal fat
Mm.
helps your gallbladder and it helps people with gout. It can be an initial sort of adjustment period and so on. But the difference is if that grease is coming from seed oils,
Mm,
So I would just also make sure you're not cooking your steaks or your chops or eggs, bacon in seed oils at all. Like avocado oil and olive oil are kind of, they're considered dirty carnivore to have anything like that, but they're not considered horrific. And most people can kind of handle them because they're cold pressed. But seed oils that are processed out of seeds that involve all these chemical, outrageously horrific chemical process to get the seed oils out makes it very, very toxic. So I
mm,
didn't know if I'd mentioned that to you. So it might be that the quote greasiness, that you get to the point where down the track, if you're interested in eating that kind of food again, you can eat it as long as it's at a restaurant that's not using vegetable oil in that dish. Having said that, I absolutely love Indian food, but I don't miss it.
mm.
It's like I have a different brain in. Like it's
Yeah,
like a
I
different
get that.
program's been installed. You get that? You're
I
having the
get
same
that.
thing?
Well, I never ever thought I would not crave sugar.
Right,
Never in a million years. Like
right.
the times that I've tried to come off sugar before, I have had the shakes, I have had headaches, I have felt anxious, I have felt out of control. Honest to God, like
Yeah, yeah.
I thought, you know, and I've watched films on it and I get it intellectually, but every time I try to do it, it was so hard. I just
Hmm.
thought, I'm never going to get off sugar. Like, I'm never going to do this. And the funny thing is, going on carnivore, I didn't consciously come off sugar and carbs, right? I was just doing what you told me to do and taking all of the precautions and doing everything right, which is why I haven't had any side effects yet. So my bowel is adjusting really quickly and much, much better than when I was eating vegetables, right? So it's so much less violent than when I was eating vegetables, which is like counterintuitive to me. Um, but yeah, so all of those things, like I never really considered. Only like halfway through last week, I texted you and went, oh my God, like overnight I've come off sugar and carbs. And
Oh,
it
you
hadn't
have.
occurred to me
Yeah,
at all that that's what
yeah,
I'd done. But
yeah.
that is what I did. I had no cravings. I know that's not the typical response for everybody, but
Mm.
for me, which is ironic because like for so many years I didn't eat red meat, I didn't eat meat, all of those things. It's so strange to me and counterintuitive that I'm thriving on meat.
And you're really unusual in that you've had no, your side effects, other than sort of, I guess, a continuation of uh, bowel stuff, but in a different way and for a different reason, and it sounds not as violent. But other than that, all your quote side effects have been positive. That emotional regulation, the fact that you're not having any carb cravings. What about your energy? Has that changed at
My
all?
energy, I am a little bit weary, but I have
Mhm.
had a massive fortnight, like
Yeah.
a massive, huge fortnight. So I'm still steady. I'm still showing up.
Hmm.
This weekend I had a bit of a more quiet weekend because I have had a crazy time and a lot of emotional stuff to deal with of other people. And like, you know, my son had a car crash and
Yeah.
it was big stuff last week.
And he's
And
fine, by the way, everyone. It was just
Yeah,
the
he's
car
good.
was totaled and everybody was fine, but it was
Yeah,
still
he's got
horrifying as a
concussion, which he's milking,
oh,
but everything's
okay.
fine.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was a big week, and so with my, I feel like I'm I need to kick in another level to the energy. So I feel okay, but
Mm,
I feel like I would love to kick it up. But I feel like at the moment my body is recalibrating. I'm being super gentle with myself.
good.
I'm not pushing myself at all. I said to you the other day, I feel like stretching. Like I feel like my body just wants to stretch and elongate and just be gentle. And I feel like at some point I'm going to go, I want to be more active now, but I'm really giving myself this grace period of
Hmm.
I'm changing decades worth of habits
Hmm.
very quickly overnight. And so I'm just allowing myself the space, the rest, the hydration, and the adjustment period.
Yeah.
But I would love, obviously, when everything starts recalibrating and is settled, to be more active. And I've been reading other people's stories, and they've said, you know, I've got more energy, I'm stronger, I'm all of those things. So, I mean, the benefits that I've seen in just a week have blown my mind. I still can't quite believe it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I'm just tentatively taking each step each day. I'm not in a rush. I really want to do this for a lifelong shift. I owe it to myself, I owe it to my family to just take this seriously and do it gently and properly.
Yeah, I mean, that's really good. And the energy thing too, one of the other things with carnivore is that there are a number of kind of levers that you can work for different things. Um, if you have low energy, it could be that there's no lever, it's just the first week, or the first couple of weeks or the first kind of month, because your system, even though you've lost the sugar and carb cravings, your body hasn't probably gotten into ketosis yet, where you've switched to a different fuel source. So you're kind of cutting off the carb fuel source and you haven't switched over to the ketones fuel source. So there's kind of that lag time in between. And some of that is just time. The other lever you can pull is more fat, because in carnivore, it's helpful to remember that nutrition comes from the meat and energy comes from fat. So it
Mm-hmm.
could be that you're under eating the fat a little bit. Another one is electrolytes, but you're all sorted. You've got your element. Have they arrived? Is that the element?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
perfect. I did 1 to 2 of those a day for the first 3 months that I did carnivore. And then another thing is, you can use EFT for tapping for tiredness if you have to rally yourself and it's not the fat, and it's not the electrolytes. You can just tap for like a temporary pickup, and maybe we'll do that in a moment for people. But before we do, just when it comes to, just give us an update on a couple of things so that we can track, so that every week when we talk to you again, maybe, are you happy to share that photo at some point? Maybe
Yeah,
of that.
totally.
Okay. And you weighed yourself last week, or at the beginning of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you also took measurements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because one of the things that I stress to you is that you don't want to weigh yourself more than once a month, but you can measure yourself every single day if you want, because you watch this recomposition happening. Have you weighed or measured yourself again since that first time a week ago?
No, I'm planning to do it monthly, just because previously, as I'm sure a lot of people, especially women, will connect with, you could feel great, step on the scales and go, oh my God, like I feel terrible because the numbers don't reflect how I was
Very true.
feeling. And so for me, I just feel like, again, for the longevity of this and for the success, I'm just going to do it monthly so I can see some shifts, some
Very
some
smart.
genuine shifts. And I kind of like, I'm kind of not. I know it's important, and I yes, I've got a lot of weight to lose, so I'm definitely excited about that.
Mhm.
But it actually isn't my primary focus for this, which is weird because all of my eating for the whole of my adult life has been around my body size.
Yeah, wow, interesting.
And now I'm feeling so stable emotionally. That's been a massive, massive, fantastic shift for me.
And totally unexpected too.
And just the ease of doing it. It's just been so easy because I know clearly what I can have and what I don't have. So I'm not
Yeah,
thinking, what should I measure? Should I have a bit of this? How much of that's around? It's like super clear. Like
yeah.
it's super clear what I can have. So I don't have to overthink it. I cook separately for the family, but I'm also interestingly, as we're using things up, I'm not replacing them.
Right, interesting. Is the family now eating more meat as a result of you eating more meat?
Yes and no. Like there it is expensive to eat a lot of meat as well. So we're trying to factor in all of the things. Like every morning anyway, before carnivore, I would get up and make them all eggs and bacon
Yep,
because I didn't want them going to school with sugary cereals and like
right.
empty carbs and no nutrition. So even before we started this, I'd always get up early and make them eggs and bacon because then I feel like they've got a really good start to the day. So they have that anyway. And now we're just like, we have got some cereals which we're just phasing out now because we don't really have them anyway because I cook every morning. So now I'm making slight adjustments to, and as I said, as we're running out of ingredients, I'm just not replacing them. I'm just getting in other things. And like, I mean, with the kids, like we've got the low sugar baking book, so we've got wholemeal flour. So I'm sort of making adjustments for them that we'll work with probably longer term and see
Yeah.
how they go with things.
Yeah.
But gut health is really important. So that's something that I'm really aware of for the whole family now.
And you have rescheduled your surgery, right?
I have, yes, I've
Yeah.
delayed it till the end of November.
And talk about that a little bit and the logic behind it and how you arrived at that decision.
Well, to be honest with you, I was kind of terrified going under the knife, being so unwell.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've had a couple of surgeries in the last few years. I was very, very lucky to walk away from my cesarean, which did not go well on
Hmm.
my last child. Like, they had to resuscitate me on the table. My cesarean took 3.5 hours. I lost 3.5 liters of blood,
Hmm.
and my recovery was pretty harsh. And then I had my tubes tied, and that was a really tricky time as well. So I don't like, me and surgery, we're not great friends anyway.
Hmm.
And the thought of going into surgery, number one, just so unhealthy, my blood pressure all over the place. I was scared that if they couldn't do keyhole and they had to open me up, it would become a big deal again. Because the last time I was opened up, it didn't go so well for me.
Okay.
So I kind of wanted to give this a chance for me to start turning things around. And look, I've always hoped and believed that maybe I could heal it myself. And I've been told by the doctors, not carnivore doctors, but other doctors, no, you can't do that. It's non-reversible, blah, blah. And I get it. But I also know that there have been miracles and there have been people that have done it. So I kind of want to give myself time to shift where I am and reassess
Hmm.
at the beginning of November, get some tests, see where I am, make an informed, intelligent decision. But I wanted to give myself a chance to change my future if I can, because I would love not to have the surgery if I could possibly help it.
And when you told me that you had rescheduled your surgery, the first thing I was like, what was your doctor's opinion on that? Because with things like that, and I do believe that it's important to keep your doctor in the loop about decisions like that. And I was relieved when you said that when you rescheduled, you basically said, if the doctor has a big problem with me rescheduling, like pushing it back 2 months, make him reach out and tell me. And you haven't heard back from the doctor that that's a problem. So, look, you are definitely going to be healthier if you do have to have the surgery, and but and better able to cope. We can also use EFT to help you prepare for it if you have to, so that you get a sort of take the most stress away from that process. But also, um, of course, there's a chance that you don't have to have the surgery, which would be so awesome. Were you on any medications or anything, or are you still for the kinds of things you had before? You said you had autoimmune too, I think.
Yeah, I'm 3 times autoimmune. So I'm on thyroxine. I'm on blood pressure tablets now because my
Okay.
blood pressure was just consistently really dangerously high.
S-
And then even after the first course, my blood pressure hadn't come down. So they had to change my medication again. So my blood pressure has been really, really high.
All right.
Um,
So very, very important to get that blood pressure checked definitely before the end of this week. If you can go into a chemist and just have that done while you're on the medication. I don't know how they do that because people do overdose on blood pressure medication. It's one of the things that comes down the fat that heals the fastest on carnivore is your blood pressure. And you don't want to have an overdose of your blood pressure medication. So maybe
mm,
reach out to your doctor and just say, I've made, I'm making lifestyle changes that I believe are making big, you don't have to say it's carnivore because unless you reach
yeah,
out to one of those carnivore
yeah.
doctors.
I don't feel I'm going to share exactly what I'm doing, but what I am in close contact with my doctor
Yeah.
because of my thyroid and because of my blood pressure. So I do have semi-regular checks and my bloods as well. I've just fortuitously just had a pretty comprehensive blood work recently, so that'll be interesting in maybe 6 months' time to go and repeat those bloods.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely follow up with that. And, but just those medications, because if you're taking medication you don't need, it can actually be kind of give you side effects in the other direction. So I would
Mm,
say I've just heard numerous people talking about blood pressure. And with EFT, for example, I teach it in my workshops. When we talk about tapping for physical things, I talk about how that's blood pressure is one of the things because EFT reduces the stress hormone cortisol in the body so drastically that I tell the story of a fellow practitioner who had a client who didn't show up for his fifth EFT session in as many weeks, and then she got a call from him that night saying, "I'm in the hospital. I got taken away by an ambulance, and because I collapsed, that's why he didn't show up to his session." And they had done tests on him, and they said, "Oh, you've got whatever the blood pressure medication is in your bloodstream, and that's the problem. You overdosed on it. But why are you taking it? Because you don't have high blood pressure." That's what the hospital said, because he had just kept taking his blood pressure. So this is one of the things I teach in my workshop. If there's blood pressure medication involved, make sure they're going to the doctor and getting checked. Don't go like a month. So I would just say that that's something to keep an eye on,
Mm.
just to keep an eye on. But you're doing great. And you sent me that after picture of your face like 4 days later, and just the drop in inflammation was extraordinary. So we are definitely going to look forward to seeing those results and the follow-up blood results, and also your and the measurements and weighing and stuff. You don't even really have to do that stuff. I mean, once a month is
Well, I
great.
don't mind sharing. I don't mind sharing, but I think monthly is reasonable for me to keep in the right energy of the whole project.
Absolutely. And you also know that the weight that you lose on carnivore is fat. It's not, you don't lose muscle. So muscle weighs twice as much as fat. So what can happen is you can go down 2 clothing sizes and you don't seem to have lost a lot of weight, but you've lost a lot of fat and gained a lot of muscle. So you look the way you want to look and you feel the way you want to feel, but your weight maybe isn't what you kind of had this preconceived idea of what your weight would be. Like what would the weight of my unhealthy self with really high like adipose body fat and things like that, with kind of not as much muscle versus, I mean, my muscle has really increased on carnivore, and I haven't even really started the big workout part of my life yet. I will do that. I'm bouncing around and I've got so much more energy. But what I was thinking we could do is just a little bit of tapping just to finish up here on just the tiredness.
Hmm. Lovely.
So for anybody watching this, the way that you tap along is that you don't have to know anything in advance. I've got a video on how to do EFT that you'll be able to look at. Just go into my playlist on sort of information about EFT to look at it. But you can just follow along, and you might get a benefit just from tapping along with watching somebody else tap. So are you feeling any of this tiredness right now?
Yeah, I am feeling a little bit tired.
Okay. Out of 10, 1 to 10, 0 is like, nope, no tiredness at all. And 10 is like a jet lag, just want to lay my head down. Where are you on that scale?
I'm about a 7.
Okay. So we start the setup statement on the side of the hand. And how are you feeling that tiredness? Is it in your whole body, in your head, in your eyes? Where are you really feeling it?
Behind my eyes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and in my chest, maybe.
Okay. Even though I'm feeling tired behind my eyes and in my chest,
Even though I'm feeling tired behind my eyes and in my chest,
I accept that this is how I'm feeling.
I accept that this is how I'm feeling.
Even though I'm feeling tired
Even though I'm feeling tired
behind my eyes and in my chest,
behind my eyes and in my chest,
I accept that this is how I'm feeling.
I accept that this is how I'm feeling.
Even though I'm feeling tired behind my eyes
Even though I'm feeling tired behind my eyes
and in my chest,
and in my chest,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Okay, top of the head. I'm just noticing.
I'm just noticing.
Eyebrow. I'm feeling tired.
I'm feeling tired.
Side of the eye. Behind my eyes.
Behind my eyes
Under the eye. And in my chest.
and in my chest.
Under the nose. Just noticing how I feel.
Just noticing how I feel.
Under the mouth. Letting myself just notice this tiredness.
Letting myself just notice this tiredness.
This feeling of tiredness here in my body.
This feeling of tiredness here in my body.
Behind my eyes and in my chest.
Behind my eyes and in my chest.
All right, stop tapping. Just take a comfortable breath. Just tuning into that now. Has the feeling, the experience of that tiredness changed at all? Has it become more? Because often when we tune into things, when we start tapping, it feels like it's going up, but really we're just being more aware of it. Has it come down? Has it stayed the same? Does it feel different? Is it not behind your eyes anymore, but somewhere else?
It feels a bit lighter behind my eyes, lighter.
So it was a 7 before the tiredness. What's the tiredness at now?
About a 6.
Okay, side of the hand, and it's still in your chest as well.
Yeah, I probably will yawn. That's why.
That's what happens when people tap and they release and relax is yawning. Also, big sighs can happen. Even though I have this remaining tired feeling,
Even though I have this remaining tired feeling,
it's lighter behind my eyes,
it's lighter behind my eyes,
but I can still feel it here in my chest.
but I can still feel it here in my chest.
I deeply and completely accept myself,
I deeply and completely accept myself,
even though I still have this tired feeling.
even though I still have this tired feeling,
And I'm allowed to notice that.
and I'm allowed to notice that
It's behind my eyes and in my chest.
it's behind my eyes and in my chest.
And I accept myself,
And I accept myself,
even though I'm just letting myself notice how this feels in my body.
even though I'm just letting myself notice how this feels in my body,
This remaining tiredness behind my eyes
this remaining tiredness behind my eyes
and here in my chest.
and here in my chest.
I'm allowed to notice it,
I'm allowed to notice it,
and I accept myself.
and I accept myself.
I'm just noticing this tiredness,
I'm just noticing this tiredness,
this remaining tiredness,
this remaining tiredness,
noticing exactly what it feels like behind my eyes,
noticing exactly what it feels like behind my eyes,
behind my eyes,
behind my eyes,
exactly how tired I feel,
exactly how tired I feel,
this remaining tiredness,
this remaining tiredness,
here behind my eyes,
here behind my eyes,
this remaining tiredness,
this remaining tiredness,
and here in my chest,
and here in my chest.
this tiredness in my chest,
This tiredness in my chest,
this tiredness in my chest.
this tiredness in my chest.
I'm noticing exactly what it feels like.
I'm noticing exactly what it feels like.
I'm really letting myself notice
I'm really letting yourself notice
the tiredness in my chest,
the tiredness in my chest,
exactly how tired I feel,
exactly how tired I feel,
tuning into this tiredness in my chest.
tuning into this tiredness in my chest.
Okay. Nice, comfortable breath. So, tuning into that feeling of tiredness now, just really assess, do a scan from head to toe, and just let yourself kind of notice what's happened to the tiredness now. How would you describe it?
It's lifted significantly. It's there's some left in my throat. It's about a
Mhm.
4.
Okay, side of the hand. Even though this tiredness has lifted significantly,
Even though this tiredness had lifted significantly,
there's still a bit left in my throat,
there's still a bit left in my throat,
and I accept myself.
and I accept myself.
Even though I have some remaining tiredness in my throat,
Even though I have some remaining tiredness in my throat,
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Even though I have this remaining tiredness in my throat,
Even though I have this remaining tiredness in my throat,
I accept that this is how I feel
I accept that this is how I feel.
here in my throat.
Here in my throat,
I'm noticing everything about it.
I'm noticing everything about it.
This remaining tiredness,
This remaining tiredness,
this remaining tiredness
this remaining tiredness,
here in my throat.
here in my throat.
I'm noticing how big it is,
I'm noticing how big it is,
exactly where it is in my throat,
exactly where it is in my throat.
this tiredness in my throat.
This tiredness in my throat.
All right. Scan your whole body for tiredness again. How tired do you feel now out of 10?
A 2.
A 2? Okay. Side of the hand. Even though I have some remaining tiredness,
Even though I had some remaining tiredness,
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I have this remaining bit of tiredness,
Even though I have this remaining bit of tiredness,
I'm just letting myself acknowledge it.
I'm just letting myself acknowledge it.
And I accept myself.
And I accept myself.
Even though I have this remaining bit of tiredness,
Even though I have this remaining bit of tiredness,
I'm just noticing in my body right now.
I'm just noticing in my body right now.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
This little bit of tiredness that's left,
This little bit of tiredness that's left,
it's okay to notice it.
it's okay to notice it.
I've been feeling a bit of tiredness this week.
I've been feeling a bit of tiredness this week.
For the last week,
For the last week,
lots been going on in my life,
a lot's been going on in my life,
and I think I would be tired anyway.
and I think I would be tired anyway.
It's also my first week of carnivore.
It's also my first week of carnivore.
My whole system is shifting over.
My whole system is shifting over.
So it's understandable.
So it's understandable.
I've been dealing with a lot,
I've been dealing with a lot,
emotionally and mentally,
emotionally and mentally,
and even physically.
and even physically.
And I honor my body for telling me that.
And I honor my body for telling me that.
Just acknowledging this tiredness,
Just acknowledging this tiredness,
giving my body permission to relax,
giving my body permission to relax,
to let in any energy I need,
and let in any energy I need,
choosing to feel energetic
choosing to feel energetic
and alert,
and alert,
as energetic and alert as I have to be,
as energetic and alert as I have to be
to get things done today.
to get things done today.
And no more than that,
No more than that,
just the right amount of energy.
just the right amount of energy.
And it'll be interesting to see
It'll be interesting to see
if this tapping has an effect on that this week.
if this tapping has an effect on that this week.
And so what I want you to do, and everybody watching this at home, I want you to think about a container. Any kind of container at all. It can be a pirate chest at the bottom of the ocean. It can be a steel drum welded shut on Mars. It can be anything. What's your container?
It is a transparent cube with a lid.
Okay, and where is it? Is it on another planet, on the other side of Earth, at the bottom of, underneath a
No,
mountain?
it's just on the other side of the room.
Okay. I'm putting anything that might have come up
I'm putting anything that might have come up
that I need to tap on
I need to tap on
away in my transparent container with a lid.
away in my transparent container with a lid.
And anybody watching, if anything's come up for you, put it away in your container. I don't have to work on everything right now.
I don't have to work on everything right now.
I'll get to it another time
I'll get to it another time
when I choose to,
when I choose to,
when it's safe and gentle for me to do that.
when it's safe and gentle for me to do that.
I'm so glad I have this really secure container with a lid,
I'm so glad I have this really secure container with a lid
and it's away from my body.
away from my body.
And this storage is just temporary.
This storage is just temporary.
I'm giving my body peace,
I'm giving my body peace,
sending calm and peace to my body,
sending calm and peace to my body,
and just the right amount of energy for my day
and just the right amount of energy for my day
and for my week.
and for my week.
I'm doing great.
I'm doing great.
I'm on a healing journey,
I'm on a healing journey.
and I'm just getting better and better by the minute.
I'm just getting better and better by the minute.
And I choose to feel the power of that.
And I choose to feel the power of that.
Okay. How does that feel?
A lot better.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can use it for anytime exhaustion comes up. You can just tap to acknowledge it, and you can say, I choose to feel energetic. And it's a great way to just be able to keep going through your day. And then that energy will just keep coming back, will just increase and increase as you get further on the journey. But you've done so well in just the first week. I'm so proud of you. And congratulations. I'm so looking forward to doing these regular sessions with you and checking in with you. And it's so generous of you to share that with people watching. So on behalf of anybody who will be helped by this, and all the carnivores out there, as we tap on things specific to carnivores, I just thank you so much.
Thank you, Naomi. And I just want to say the conversation that we had the other day about the compassion and love that we feel for people who are not in alignment with their bodies, because we are made should I say. We are made to feel shame and guilt and not enoughness and unworthiness if we don't fit this ideal. And yet we're sold so much that is not good for us under the umbrella of it being good for us. And it's so confusing. And so I just wanted to say, for anybody listening, we have so much love and compassion for you. And to be on this journey with us, it's a privilege to have you with us, because we're doing this from a very heart-centered place to say you are enough.
Yeah.
You are totally fine the way you are, and there is an answer out there for you.
Yeah, it's funny. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who he had said to me, I think about 3 weeks ago, he had said, "Oh, good on you, Naomi. Congratulations. You've lost so much weight and you're so healthy and you're looking great. Really, just I'm so proud of you. You did it. You did it." And I felt myself kind of bristle a little bit. And I said, "Oh, it's been really easy. Like, I don't feel like I want credit because it's easy." He goes, "No, no, no." He goes, "You should accept credit because, you've stuck with it." And it just kind of irritated me and I wasn't sure why. And I had to think about it. And I actually spoke to him yesterday. I said, "You know what? If I was a little bristly when you said, you were just trying to be nice and give me credit." And I said, "I really sat with it since when I saw you last. And I figured out why it kind of triggered me a bit. And the reason is because I'm successful with carnivore, not because I have any freaking willpower. I have zero willpower. I don't have willpower. I've tried everything else I've ever tried. For me to stay on whatever that was would have required willpower. And I didn't. I
Mm-hmm.
only had that initial burst of enthusiasm that gets you through the first 6 weeks or something. And then I would fall off the wagon. And the whole time I would be feeling deprived and sorry for myself and craving and everything else. And I just said, it's the carnivore. It's the way of eating that is, I've just finally I feel like I've been running to catch a train my whole life and I finally jumped on the train and went, "Oh, I've caught the train. I don't
Yeah.
have to make any effort now for the rest of my life." It's really, I don't. I just eat this way. It's effortless. And and I said, and the reason it kind of triggered me is because I feel so much compassion for my pre-carnivore self that was out there buying into the whole calories in, calories out. It takes willpower. There's something wrong with me that I can't just make myself align with a certain way of eating. And I feel so much compassion for everybody in the world who struggles with their weight, who's constantly on the yo-yo dieting and has messed up their metabolism and they feel like it's forever. Um, because they're blaming themselves and I blamed myself, and it isn't them and it wasn't me. They had been given the wrong information. Their body was being given the wrong food. And so I just said to my friend yesterday, "I know you were just being really nice and you meant well, but the world thinks like you do. They think that
Mm,
when suddenly someone gets healthy and loses a bunch of fat, they lose fat and they're healthy, that they've somehow managed to stick with something finally." And I went, and that's not it. It's effortless what
mm.
I'm doing. Carnivore is effortless. You don't congratulate someone for going 90 miles an hour when they're sitting on a train. You know, it's like I'm sitting on the train. It's effortless. I'm relaxing. I'm enjoying life. I love every steak I have. I love, I go to parties where people are eating whatever. And to me, I'm like, I'm so joyful that they're enjoying that food. Don't give it to me. It doesn't look like food to me, but I love that they're enjoying it. And here I am with my pork chops or my steak or my lamb or whatever it is. So, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to make this channel, is to help spread the word, help carnivores with the emotional things that are still there that they're dealing with, because certainly the carnivore way of eating takes care of the physical for so many people, takes care of the physical cravings. It's the emotional stuff. And you also mentioned a belief that you had, not sure I can handle meat. You used to have that belief.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing. It might turn out over the next few days, the few weeks or whatever, that that belief kind of comes up to be healed, to be served, to
Mm,
don't push those beliefs down. Don't just talk yourself out of them. Tap on that and just go, even though I have this part of me that's still not sure I can handle meat, because that part is still showing up when you say, I need variety.
mhm,
Because
mhm.
that's a belief. I had that belief for the first 8 months on carnivore, and then I did lion for a month, and I broke that illusion. Um, Variety's fun, but I don't actually need it, and I don't have an emotional connection to it, so I can easily just eat steak for a whole week. And then, but it's nice to know that personally for me that I can eat a bigger variety of different kinds of animal products just because it's more convenient in the world and can be more economical too, which is
Mm,
valuable and
mm.
important, especially when you have a family and so on. So thank you for sharing that. And thanks everybody for watching this. And we're going to check in with Cathy again in a week. And I look forward to hearing how you've gone in your second week of carnivore. So
It'll
thanks
be
again.
interesting to see the video number one to video number whatever it is when I'm so many
That's
months in. It's going
That's
to be
it. And
cool.
that's why I was so wanted to do this so soon, like so quickly on the carnivore. Look, if I could go back and turn back time, I would have pulled out my phone and recorded you at that event
Mm.
because already you look so much healthier than you
Oh
did.
yeah,
And it's not just
100%.
this, it's not just Zoom. It's the fact that you just, there's like a light in your eyes. And when you described in at the beginning of this video, what was going on with your health and that feeling of I'm not even sure I'm gonna like survive, and those attacks, those gallbladder attacks that you were having, and the butt throat. The picture I have in my mind of what you looked like in front of me last week matches what that is. I didn't even know it was that bad,
Mm.
but that explains why you looked the way you did. So I am so happy that you are on this journey for your sake, for my sake, for the sake of everybody watching, and I can't wait to continue it with you. So thank you.